So, my dear Taurus, the Earth has continued its path, and we see now behind the Sun the constellation Virgo, and we see behind the Moon, which also has continued its path, the constellation Taurus. So two Earth signs come together and bring a lot of stability financially, but also a stability in the way we do physical exercises to stay healthy. And also what we eat, and of course Taurus brings the pleasure to it, right? Because Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Taurus is the second house of worth. What is it worth, right, to keep myself healthy? So all these issues or all these topics are now coming up. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the messenger, and is ruled by the sixth house of health. And so there is going to be, how much do I spend for the things that do good to me, right? And you will recognize how important it is to do so, because your health or your house, right, your home, your body is really important in that fact. So this is what's talking today, just Sun and Moon. The yoga position for Virgo is Tadasana. I am back up in the mountain and looking at my future and my past self in the present moment, because Virgo is the tantric union between me and myself. For you, my dear Taurus, I gave you a movement. You're not sitting here anymore. You are inhaling, going up, getting the information, exhaling. Here you meeting yourself, and when you're down, you brought the information down because you are a teacher. And these 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, are also the 3 heads, the triangle that's pointing upwards, right? That you are incorporating, right? The 3, the most spiritual number, right? Where we can see that the 3 is the new 1. So here you are, the movement, right? You go up again and you come back. So that's really important for you to understand. So that to just the Sun and the Moon. Then your court card is the King of Pentacles. If your birthday is between April 10th and May 9th, then he is your court card. He is looking to the left. Every person that is looking to the left is looking into the soul path, and every person that is looking to the right is looking into the human path, that I am going out, I am seeing, where can I go? And mostly it is towards the full moon, towards your opposite sign, and for you that is Scorpio. In the month of Scorpio you get your full moon, and Scorpio is going to give you the light to your full moon. So there you are, right, incorporating the most opposite sign in all of the zodiac signs. And so that path is to the right, is out into the light. And then to the left is when we go back to the new moon, go back to where Sun and new moon are both in your sign. And you had that in the month of Taurus, right? And so now you're going out again. You planted your seed and now you're going out again into the full moon, where you are again shining your light, right, in that opposite sign. So this towards the positioning of the King of Pentacles. And then back to the last reading, because everything is cyclical. Leo Sun gave Taurus Moon the light. The message was, true love for self and others heals all attachment and temptations. You had twice the devil, and in the center, the lovers, Gemini. And so you can see that you were tempted, but you also had a 666 portal, 3 times 6. Sometimes people say, well, that's the sign of the beast. It is not. It is exactly what Virgo holds in its lantern here in Salvador Dali. It's an embryo. When we turn the picture around, you see here there is the next generation, and here in this card you see the hexagram, the star, the 6-pointed star, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, and we have 6 triangles. So the number 666 is actually not the number of the beast. It's actually the number that brings healing and union, right, between the masculine and the feminine, because it's the triangle that's pointing up, it's the masculine, and the triangle that's pointing down, it's the feminine. Then I'm gonna pick one more card on the position of the Last Judgment. This is the Lifruma Healing Oracle. It's my latest deck that I purchased. And we're going to see what the rune alphabet is bringing to you. Okay. So the word is vain, the weathercock, the fluctuate, the number 56. Now you can stop the video and enlarge the video and read it yourself. So first of all, the 5 is in here, which is you, right? The high priest, the Hierophant. In Greek, we call it the Hierophant. And the 6. And the 6 is, of course, again, from last reading, 3 times the 6, right? Gemini, the lovers, that self-love that is needed to really accept oneself, the third eye, so the 5 senses, and then the third eye, right, that sees everything. Vain. The weathercock knows not which way to blow, so it flutters while the next fool mutters and spins on a pin, with all the flags and hues of others' views flapping in the wind. Dressed, obsessed, and oppressed by the liveries of any thoughts but your own. Exit the influence of others, weather the changes of thought by using love as your compass. Be yourself socially. Brave out life. Wow. Calculated together, you get an 11, and 11 is a portal, and you can see how here the rune letter is speaking to you. And I'm focusing on this dot, right? It's something that I feel like has a meaning. It's almost like in the Om symbol, there's also the dot. That's that space, right? That's that consciousness that we're trying to reach. If I put now the Last Judgment above it, which is the call, right? This is where I put this deck. So the Last Judgment is actually the new age. It's an awakening, and the awakening is telling you to be brave, right? To be brave in the way you live life, to be brave in the way you are yourself, socially, with other people. And so we're going to have a look what the message is now. On the position of the Fool comes the 5 of Pentacles. This is connected with the constellation Mercury in Taurus. And of course, Mercury is connected with Virgo, right? So Virgo is bringing you a message. And that message is when you take that step off that ledge, right? When you say, all right, I'm going to have this foolish idea, because the Fool is a state of consciousness. And the 5 is usually a little bit of a poor way of thinking of self. You not think you're worth it. You need to use the 5 senses to truly go and see why do you think like that, right? See, hear, smell, taste, feel, and acknowledge in the end your presence. Otherwise you wouldn't be here, right? And so this idea of like I'm not worth it, and this idea that maybe the 5 is like, of course, the challenge, right? The 5 is the challenge of the 5th element, which is here the throat, the 5th chakra. And the 5th element is the air element, right? Is the space element, right? The space where the sound travels. And so here you are going to take that step, that leap of faith of searching who you truly are and become more aware that you have to really love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, who will? On the position of the Magician comes here the Witness. And I'm going to the right because we're going to the full moon, right? So the path is out to the light, and you are here experiencing a very special moment because the Witness is the last card here in this deck from Alberto Villoldo. The 4 is the Emperor, and the 6 is the Lovers. And calculated together, we get the 10, the Wheel of Fortune. And with the 1 of the Magician, you get an 11. So you have an 11-11 portal, right? And that is usually always a sign when you see 11-11 or 22-22. That's why I call these portals. And a portal is an energy, right? And 4 is the heart, or is that material side, or is the air, right? There are so many things that we can think of when we think of the number 4. 4 is also stability. And 4 times the one and the only, the one that he's pointing up to, the one that we're born to, the one that we go back to, right? And so remember that the portal is here for you to become more inspirational, to become more magic, right? To create magic here in this dimension and see that the infinite eight is above his head. And so you are ready to take that step, right? You're ready to be the witness that observes now the 5, that worthiness, that self-worthiness that you have to build again and again, right? Because it's not ending with one reading. It's just, it continues, right? The wheel is spinning. Then on the position of the High Priestess comes here the Moon. And the Moon is the ruler of flux and reflux, right? Is the one that is bringing and taking away, is moving. Inhale and exhale, is the bringer of duality. And so the number 18 and the 2 creates a 20. And so you recognize right away that the 20 is again the last judgment. And on the last judgment you got this message, right? Become empowered, brave out your life, and be yourself socially. So the Moon is literally letting you know that you are now using your intuition, because I could also calculate this together, then I get a 9. And then with the 2, I get an 11. And the 11 I do not calculate together, you see? So I can get a 20, but I also can get an 11. Then you have 6 times the 1. And so the 6 is then again the self-love that is embedded in the 56. And so recognize your intuition is bringing you to the right places, is teaching you how to arrive and to leave, right? Because that's what the moon does. The moon is moving around the earth and is now in your sign. So the moon is speaking intuitively to you and bringing you the right inspiration what to do next. On the position then of the Empress, we got the Wheel of Fortune. So as you can see, then you have 7 wands. You see that? I mean, it's like, then you know in your crown chakra that you really understand that certain things are really, you cannot make that up, right? That's just like, okay, 7 times the 1 in a row, right? Then with the 3 of the Empress, you get the 13, and the 13 is Scorpio, is the month where you get your full moon, and the moon is here. So how amazing is that, right? How amazing do these cards talk to us? So that's the 7th chakra that is gonna like then open up on that full moon. You're gonna glow. You're gonna be giving birth to new adventure, because the Wheel of Fortune is connected with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, and you expand it out as much out as you can, and then you can glow. And the 13 becomes a 4, the stability, that arrival, the 4 that is in the witness, right? And you can see that here I am. I have arrived. I have understood something through the 4 elements, through the stability, but also through the heart, right? So recognize that everything has its fortunate movement of coming and going, right? Inhale and exhale, and also the up and the down. Then on the position of the Hierophant comes the 3 of Swords. Now, the 3 of Swords usually is called, there is a painful situation still stuck in your heart, like these 3 swords, right? And with you, you have the 3 steps. You have now the knowledge that you can get the information and bring it down. And the 5 and the 3 creates an 8, that infinite loop of we learn the most through difficult situations, right? And so that infinite potential that you see here through the 8, right? How you see he's lying here and is almost like not able to move, but it's in his head, right? And what he thinks in his head, he is then thinking it's reality. And you have the 3 steps. You have the antidote against these 3 thoughts. And this is connected with the constellation Saturn in Libra, which comes in the next month, right? In the next month we have Sun in Libra. So maybe this is already giving you an idea what is happening in the next month, right? But you have the 3 steps. Do something. When you have these 3 thoughts, then do something. Go for a jog. Go and clean. Go and do something that takes off your mind, right? And so the 8 is letting you know that infinite thinking about something is not gonna do you good. You gotta recognize, okay, it's stuck here in your heart, but it's in your head. Then on the position of your court card, the King of Pentacles, comes the 2 of Cups. And the 2 of Cups is connected with the constellation Venus in Cancer. Now this is very interesting, right? So there is then a healing happening, right? The 2 of Cups is like, here you are finding deep within yourself the masculine and the feminine, exchanging the 2 cups, and here Leo with the wings, the caduceus above them, and it's almost like you are looking into the past. You see that if I put you here, you're actually looking at that, and it is in the past. It's not happening anymore. And so now up here you're like, okay, something new is coming, and you see that there is a new love wanting to come to you. Either a self-love, a real deep self-love where you're recognizing who you really are, or you really falling in love with someone, right? We have Pisces here. So maybe you're falling in love with a Pisces, right? But I don't want to give you like, okay, a very specific person. I just want you to see that there is a new love emerging out of you, right? The second, because you are the second house of worth, and the 2 of Cups is a 22. It's a 2-2 portal right here in the center of your reading. You as a court card, right? Please look in the description below, because I've listed all the dates of the court cards and also the cards that I'm using here. So here you have a 22. So then a next level of portal is speaking to you. On the position then of the Hermit comes here Salvador Dali, the 9 of Wands, and the 9 of Wands is connected with the constellation Moon in Sagittarius, and you don't have any other wands, so you have 9 wands and 9 with the Hermit. You have a 9-9 portal. You see, now it goes up, the portal goes up. Find the love, find yourself deep within, right? And find the strength again and again to do whatever it takes to take that path into the spiritual, into the soul. Even though you're going towards the full moon right now, recognize, right, that you are always wanting to be connected with the soul, with your inner core, right? That's what it's all about. The left is just saying, well, I am connected with who I truly am, and that's my soul. But I also have a physical body, and that physical body wants to go out there, wants to have also the experiences that we have here in this world. So there comes the 9-9 portal after a 22 portal, right? And so it's very interesting how here you had 1, 1, 1, 1, then you had an 8, then a 22, and now a 9-9 portal. Then on the position of the moon, which came up on the High Priestess, comes here the Wailing Tree, the reconciliation, the number 59. The evolution of the moon or Pisces is to evolve, right? The lobster comes out of the water, then the wolf becomes the dog, and the dog is howling up to the moon, and there's these 2 towers, the dualities, and up in the air. And so you want to evolve, and the 18 again becomes then a 9, and we have here the 59. So interesting enough, here in the 59 you have the 5, right? You have the 5 senses in here, and when I calculate the 59 together, I get the 14, which is temperance. Temperance is then being in your center, exchanging inhale and exhale, and being tempered. And calculated together, I get the 5 left, right? And the same then, of course, here with the 9. So there is the 5 left. So you are left. You are doing all of this so you can find yourself and you can reconcile with yourself, particularly reconcile this with yourself, right? The 3 of Swords that came up on your position as the Hierophant, right? And that's also the 3 steps or the triangle that is inside here of his card. He's working with the 3, and on the 3 of the Empress came the Wheel of Fortune. Everything is actually already predestined. So when you reconcile with yourself, right, you found the strength now to really say, okay, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to see that the 5 that I'm born into, right, you picked your zodiac signs, you picked what that brings with it, right? And so here you are reconciling with yourself. Then on the position of the Sun comes here the gravity. Then you ground yourself again. The 19 becomes the 10, and the 39 becomes the 12, which is a 3. So then we have a 13, and the 13 becomes the 4. But 13 again is Scorpio, and Scorpio, where you have your full moon, you will get the sun in Scorpio, and you will recognize all the planets around you, and you will recognize that the earth is holding you, is giving you the gravity, is giving you the security, is giving you the groundedness in all of this message, right? That you know that when you have your full moon, it's a special moment between the sun, the moon, and the earth, right? The earth is then your ally, because this is where we live, right? And so here you get then the 4, the stability, the groundedness, and the 4 that is again here in the witness. You can just become a witness and watch everything from above. Now you see here these 2 butterflies. I feel like here, this is a connection, the 2 of Cups here with the 2 butterflies. There is a new love that is bringing you a lightness, right? A new perspective to the way you see things, because you tend to see things a little heavy, right? You're the cow. You're the holy cow, right? Then on the position of the world comes the 10 of Swords. Now the 10 of Swords is the dark night of the soul, and you had 3 swords, right? And the 10 of Swords is connected with the constellation Sun in Gemini. And back then you had Gemini, right, between the Capricornian energy, right, the social status. And so here you have a 10 and a 3 again, which is again a 13. The 13 again, Scorpio, the death card, the transformation that you're going through, and you see how she has risen up now here in the world, right? The world has supported you, but also the world can give you the uplift. And you see that you are here in the corner, Taurus, Leo, then opposite here, Scorpio, and then Aquarius, right? And so you are recognizing that something is ending. Difficult time is ending, because again, remember, you have 13 swords, which is then again the 13 and the 4. So you have an understanding now that Scorpio is speaking to you very clearly, very strongly, and that you are recognizing, first of all, here came the 13 and the 4, right? And then here came the 13 and then the 4, and now here again comes the 13 and the 4. 3 times the 4, right? Or 3 times the 13. It's like, okay, I get why you have the 3 of Swords, right? It's like there is something that is leaving you, really truly leaving you, because it's like the universe is not keeping you forever in a difficult situation. And since you got the 9 of Wands, you are able to take that step, right, out of difficult situations. You're coming out, and you have the 2 of Cups, right? There is light. And when I close the reading then with the 5 of Pentacles, right, you see that the cycle closes in itself, that the 5 is just half of that. And remember when I said you have these difficult moments, right? The 3 of Swords and the 10 is 13 swords, right? Imagine that you're already having 9 actions that counterbalance these 13. So only 4 swords are left, and 4 swords is always the meditation. When you meditate, you can recognize that you have the strength to get through anything, and through that you become a stronger individual, a more empowered individual. And this is what's talking here, right? Remember, you are a fixed sign, and you are creating that moment in the sky where we feel like, okay, it's time to understand sometimes things end. And you also have now 8 wands. I mean, this is crazy, right? You have 8 wands, and I'm going to put that in front of the cover, because 8 wands, it's like 8 times the 1. It's like you are infinitely understanding that the one and only is always with you, even if you are in a situation like this. Even if you are in a situation like this, it's almost like, yes, you can do it, right? You can, no matter how difficult your situation is, you can do it. You can get out of it, because you have the one and only that is helping you. And also know that you have here the weathercock. You have, no matter what, you can be brave out this life. So I hope I see you in the next reading, because we have already Libra talking. And of course, it's not the Saturn in Libra, but it's Moon in Libra. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.